I've noticed a lot of people diagnosing themselves with things lately, and there's nothing wrong with that, but there might be an issue here when it comes to pathologizing, and it might be creating more harm than good. So I have no problem with getting diagnoses. I don't diagnose people, but you could go to someone that does. I work with what we call like the normal population, which means that I don't work with disorders. I work with helping people grow and things like that. But I think that when it comes to pathologizing, a lot of us have identified that we might have a personality disorder, or we might have an insecure attachment style, or we might have a neurodivergence. But all of this identification hasn't necessarily helped us improve our lives. And that's because we're identifying a set of symptoms without actually focusing on the solution. And the problem with pathologizing is that it often makes you hyper-focused on all of the things that you're doing wrong. So you become really focused on all of the times that you're messing up because you're like, oh, look at that, that's me again. That means I have an insecure attachment style. And it doesn't necessarily fix your insecure attachment style, if we're using attachment style as the example. What it does is that it makes you really good at focusing on your flaws. The problem with focusing on your flaws is that you haven't figured out how to fix them yet. And they're actually just symptoms. They're not the root cause. And so you could focus on them for the rest of your life and not necessarily make change. The only thing that will actually make change is focusing on the root cause or focusing on the solutions. And so a lot of you actually have a lot of behaviors that you're doing that are good and healthy and productive, but you're not able to focus on them because you're doing so much pathologizing. There's no person on earth that doesn't do at least a few things well. And if you can focus on what you're doing well, that actually creates more motivation to do more things well. And that can often create more motivation to make progress and to actually get out of this mode that you're in which you feel like, things aren't going well for you. And that can actually create a lot more change than focusing on what you're doing poorly. It's like if you were trying to change someone else's behavior and you kept criticizing them, eventually they would just get demoralized and shut down and give up. But if you continuously give them positive feedback and tell them like, hey, you're doing great, like keep going, then they are much more likely to keep going and to try to create more of those behaviors. And this is really well studied. We cannot change people as well through the stick. We can change them way better through the carrot. When in this case, carrot is affirmation and validation that they're doing something really well. And that works the same in your own mind. If you keep criticizing and judging and looking for all the flaws in yourself, then it's much less likely that you're going to change and improve. It'll be a lot more likely for you to change and improve if you look at what you're already doing well and try to focus on those things to create that motivation and sense of accomplishment that you can do this and you're not completely broken and you are already making progress.